Hi, okay, so I was gonna do this video upstairs, but Jayla's swing is so loud and it's so squeaky. So I'm like, I'll just go downstairs to record it. So I guess I'll hang out with my dog and talk to you about protein and grams and how to figure out what that number looks like for you. So what you might have noticed already or just have felt is that protein is a huge theme when it comes to our health journey, when it comes to our fat loss journey, our muscle growth journey, which, by the way, those three things are kind of all the same thing. Health, weight loss, and muscle gain. They all kind of fall under the same category because we're going to approach all of those lifestyles similar with different focuses in each, but they all kind of go together. So protein is a huge theme and it's so important. And real quick before I share about how to determine the number in grams, I wanted to share with you a little bit of my personal experience with protein and where I was at with it through my health journey. And I'm going to take like a quick minute to do this, hopefully. So in 2016 or 2015, when I was a freshman in college, the freshman 20 hit me like a wall, and I gained like 20 pounds in like a month. Like, it was a very rapid weight gain, and all of a sudden it hit me like a wall one day where I was like, oh my gosh, my pants don't fit me anymore. And that's kind of where my journey with nutrition kind of started, or my interest in the role that it played in my life. Well, you know, after a month of kind of feeling confused, I kept reading more about counting macros and logging your food. So I'm like, I'm gonna give it a try. I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna see where my numbers are. I don't even know what they mean. I'm like, I'm just gonna give it a shot. So I did, and I was probably eating up near 3,000 calories a day, which was way more than my maintenance. And my protein, I wasn't really paying super close attention to, but I thought at the time I was eating too much protein, and it turned out I wasn't probably even eating like half of what I should have been eating. So protein can feel like it's one of those things where if we eat too much of it, we're gonna get bulky, or you know, we have a stigma, especially as females, that it's not what we need to really lose body fat and gain muscle mass. Well, it actually is, and it would be really hard to eat too much protein. You know, we're like, I had too much protein today, odds are you didn't, because it's really hard to eat too much of it. So real quick, when we talk about grams, there's about 25 grams of protein in a chicken breast, and I'm just throwing 25 out there as a very traditional, common number for a chicken breast. Chicken breast being like a chicken breast I could fit in my hand. If this chicken can fit in my hand, it's about 25 grams of protein. Charlie, I promise I love you and I see you. That's a serving of protein. 25 grams is a great serving. So as a female, I weigh, or as you know, for me personally, I weigh 140 pounds. So rule of thumb is to eat 140 grams of protein per day for me. So your body weight in grams would be like a great goal. Or like 80% of your body weight. So like for me, that might be like 115 grams minimum to eat. So if a chicken breast is 25 grams, that would mean I would need to eat like 6 chicken breasts a day. Now, I'm not just gonna eat chicken, okay? There's so many other sources of protein than just chicken, even though chicken is thought to be a very commonly used example when it comes to protein, just because if you look at the macros on chicken, what you're gonna find is that it's basically 100% protein. There's really no fat, no carbs. So that is just a great example of a food that's a primary protein source, because it's really just made up of protein. So using chicken as an example, I would eat 6 chicken breasts a day to reach my goal, and I would want to do that day in and day out for, you know, weeks at a time. And ultimately that would be my goal. Now, you're not gonna go eat 6 chicken breasts a day, so I don't want you to think that's what you have to do in order to reach your protein goal. Other examples of foods that have 25 grams of protein would be really any meats that fit into your hand, like 4 ounces of meat. Some meats are more fatty than others. Some are really lean sources of protein, like a pork loin, depending on like the loin, or I'm blanking on the word. Oh, chops, pork chops. You might have a more fatty source of meat or a leaner source. So that can be a really lean source of meat. Ground turkey, can be really, really lean. And again, fits in your hand, solid source of protein is about 25 grams. So any kind of meat, it really goes. And again, some meats are more fatty than others, and that can also be thought to be like a bad thing, like don't eat the fatty meats because it's bad for you. I think the fats that are in meats are great fats, and fats are important. Okay, fats play a vital role in our health, and those animal proteins and animal fats are going to be great sources of that. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend just like eating the same meat all the time. Not that that's like a bad thing, but we want to give ourselves a wide variety of nutrients. So even though like chicken is protein and ground beef is protein, they're gonna have different amino acids in them, different combinations of different types of protein that ultimately, the amino acids, they kind of work together. Or how do I want to explain that? There's different amino acids, and we want a range of all of them. So chicken is going to have, this selection of amino acids, and ground beef is going to have this selection of amino acids. We want as many amino acids as possible. So if we just consume chicken, then we're just getting those amino acids. So we want a variety. Fish is another great example. Greek yogurt is a phenomenal example. Cottage cheese, protein powder. I share a lot about the Juice Plus protein powder, and I'm a firm believer that that's a great option. Now, some protein powders aren't going to be as high of quality. If you've ever drank protein powder and have had a stomachache after, it's because it wasn't good protein. Protein powder has to be processed on heat in order to be dispersed. So a lot of times, if it's a cheap protein powder, it can be processed on too high of heat, burning away all of those amazing nutrients for you. So just so the goal of the Academy is for you to be an informed consumer. So the Juice Plus is a great protein. I talk a lot about 22 Nutrition, also a really great example. So yeah, so weaving back to the idea of how many grams of protein do you need a day, grab your body weight, or use your body weight as a number, and that's going to be your ultimate target. If anything, eat 80% of your body weight in grams of protein per day. So again, if I weigh 150 pounds, that's going to be like around 120 grams of protein per day. And if that feels a little overwhelming to you, just start by looking at the nutrition label. Start by turning the food over, looking at the amount of protein in a serving. You might learn a couple things about what is a great protein source and what isn't, or what you thought was and is not. And just kind of log it and keep track of as you go throughout your day. MyFitnessPal is a great app to use for that. It has a barcode scanner that you can scan the food and it will log it as you go. Or you can just write it in your notes, like on your phone. Just record the amount of grams of protein you're eating per day and kind of see where your numbers are. If you have questions about logging, let me know. I can help you. That's literally why I'm here. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say with that.